Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is 10 or 10 Talks. Here on my channel, we talk about all things faith, in Christ, of course, beauty, fashion, and life in general. So if any of that sounds good to you, join us and let's chat. So today we're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about finances. I've done one other video on my channel about finances when it comes to overconsumption and debt and just being a better steward of your finances and not allowing societal pressures of overconsumption and debt to grapple you, to cause you to fall into detrimental financial situation. I've been there myself where I didn't manage my finances the best and I blew through a lot of savings and found myself in a situation that wasn't the best for me. Since then, I have definitely gotten myself together and I refuse to go down that path again. However, this video is going to be about 6 cost saving things I am grateful for in my life that have helped me to just be a better steward of my finances at this point in my life. Obviously, life has different seasons, you have different responsibilities, but at this stage in my life, these are 6 things I'm grateful for that on a day-to-day basis help me to save a lot of money. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm grateful for is a paid off car. A paid off vehicle is so underrated in a society that almost glorifies car notes, whether it's leased or it's a loan that you're paying off to outright have ownership to the car. I've been watching a lot of like debt videos and it's very fascinating, but also disheartening with how overconsumption has just taken over society and how normalized things like a car note are. I've only had one car note in my life and thank God that that's the case. And I pray that my car will rock with me for a very long time so I don't have to be out here purchasing a new car. However, I have a paid off car and I'm seeing how people are trading in cars when they're in negative equity and carrying that negative equity onto a new car. So they might have a car that is worth significantly less than what they actually owe on the vehicle. And that's tragic. That is absolutely tragic. And whenever I see things like that, it's a constant reminder to be grateful for the fact that I have a paid off vehicle. Sometimes people have to go into debt and have to have a car note because they have to have a car to move about on a day-to-day basis. So I understand that, but a lot of what I've been seeing is people trading in vehicles for optics. They want the better, newer vehicle and they just stay in revolving debt with a car note. And I just do not want that for my life. I currently drive a 2010 Honda Accord. And let me tell you, that is my baby. That is my girl. She has been rocking with me since 2013. I bought her with significantly lower miles, and for the first few years I didn't really drive around like that, so I've had it for a while. I take care of the car very well. I make sure I'm taking it in for routine service, and I just really am trying my very best to upkeep it. I remember one time when I had gotten a significant raise and I was saying to my mom that I wanted to get, I can't remember what it was, I think it may have been a GLE, and I was saying to my mom I wanted to get one, and my mom was like, absolutely not, don't do it. Just because you are making more money doesn't mean that you need to go get a car like that. And it really deterred me. I'm so glad I listened to her, because when I think about how much money that would have cost me and the fact that I still have my baby, which does cost some to maintain. Obviously, every vehicle, when it has like very costly repairs, it does cost some to maintain. However, I'm not paying a car note in addition to repairs, so I am very glad and grateful for a paid off vehicle. The second thing I'm grateful for is that I do not have any pets or any kids yet. And I say that with a desire in my heart to one day be a mother and to have children of my own that I have born from my womb and everything. So I am not somebody who is an anti-kid type of person. I love children, feel like they are a blessing. I don't want a whole bunch, but I do want to at least have one child. And so hear me when I say that is not what I'm saying. I do not have an issue with children. However, they're costly. And I recognize that if they had come at an earlier time in my life, that would have strapped me financially. That would have strapped me financially. Right now, with me not having any kids or pets, it frees me up, not just with time, because with time, I don't have to think about coming home to walk a dog. I don't have to think about changing kitty litter. I don't think about having to feed anybody or anything else than myself. And I don't have to think about vet fees, doctor's visits for anyone other than myself. And that is a huge financial strain that I'm glad that I don't have to bear right now. I recognize that, again, with the desire in my heart to have it and what I believe God has promised me, that that will one day be my life. But right now it isn't. So I am taking advantage of that in saving more, in investing more. That isn't being spent on a child or a pet. I am doing more things for myself while I have the bandwidth to be able to do so, because I don't have to care for another person or an animal. So that is the second thing I am currently grateful for in this season of my life. Number 3 is a yes and a no, but primarily it's a yes, and you'll understand why. The third cost saving thing that I am grateful for is that I don't have expensive tastes. And what I mean by that, and why I said it's a yes and a no, is that I like very quality items. I do. I like to visit quality places, places that are nice, but I can also do, like, things don't have to be necessarily fancy for me to consider it quality. So that's what I mean. For example, I like quality things, but that doesn't mean that I'm a designer person. So the material of clothing that I wear, it needs to not only look good, but it needs to feel good and perform well so I can have it for a long time, that it could be sustainable. Me going to fancy restaurants, if it looks good and it seems fancy, but the food is trash, that is not me liking something or having expensive taste. That's just me putting on a front. So when I say I don't have expensive taste, it's more of the societal expensive taste. I'm not into designer everything. Atlanta almost got me. Atlanta almost got me for a smidge there, where I started to really think about like designer purses and things like that, but that's not me. That's not me. It's never been me. I'm more of, definitely, like, more of a quality clothing. You can tell looking at me that I try my best to buy more quality clothing, and that's why I like to thrift a lot, because I can get more quality material like silk, satin, real cotton, linen, and all of that for such a low price, as opposed to always shopping fast fashion. Now, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes going to be some fast fashion. This is a Zara jacket, but for the most part, I'm spending my money on more quality things. So that's where my expensive taste will come into play. But see how I just said I thrift? I found a way to make it more cost effective and sustainable for me. I also like fine jewelry, but I don't need several pieces of fine jewelry. And I inherited some from my grandma. My mom is really into good quality gold, fine jewelry. So she has put me on, and she's also gotten me some. So I don't need to be out there buying a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? I am grateful for the fact that I don't have expensive taste, and where I feel like I always have to dine at the finest restaurants, or I always feel like I need to be decked out in some type of designer. That is absolutely not me, and it saves me a lot of money. The fourth cost saving thing I am grateful for is that I know how to cook. I know how to cook, and I am able to make so many different dishes at home. I literally just have to think about it, look up a recipe, get the ingredients, and I'm likely going to be able to make it. I have spent so much money ordering Uber Eats, DoorDash. There was a time when I was in Atlanta that I was ordering every single meal on the weekends. I would spend the week saving money, not eating out at work, but would spend the entire weekend, I'm talking Friday, from that evening through Sunday, door dashing, every single meal. I spent so much money, and it's so crazy how my mindset has shifted because I prayed and asked God that, listen, I want to be a better steward of what you have blessed me with. One of the things that I know that I find difficulty with is this whole ordering out thing and the desire to eat out and not make the foods. And I wanted to be a better steward of my finances. I wanted to be a better steward of my body, this temple that the Holy Spirit is in. And I also wanted to manage gluttony. I wanted to get rid of that gluttony in all the ways, in all the forms, and gratifying my flesh immediately when I thought I wanted something. So I asked God to remove that desire, and sure as anything, He has. So I'm grateful for the fact that I know how to cook and that I have stopped with the ordering out. Even eating out, I don't do as much, not nearly as much, in the sense of going out to eat with a friend. Don't do it as much. I don't do group dinners no more. I don't. Only split dinners or meals or checks with people who are very close to me who aren't going to be foolish with their spending, you know? I save a lot now that I stay home and cook my meals. So much cost savings in that. And I am super grateful for the fact that I am able to cook. The fifth cost saving thing that I'm grateful for is the fact that I am in the truest forms, in the truest and truest of forms, a true homebody who loves my own company. I enjoy my own company so much. It's so peaceful here. It is so peaceful over here. I enjoy my own company so much. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where you want to fellowship. There are times when you want to be in community. You want to hang out with people. But I am a true homebody. Like, I don't have to be out in these streets. Yes, there are times where I'm going to want to go out and do stuff and just get out, whether it's in my own company or with others. But outside is expensive. Outside is expensive nowadays. Yes, while there are free things to do, there's just going to be costs associated with going out, whether it's the gas you're using to move your vehicle. And we know how much gas has risen to. So it's just expensive. I'm just so happy that I can literally just sit on my balcony, enjoy the outdoors, people watch, I just love it. I love my own company, and I love that fact about me that I'm a homebody in the truest form of it, and that going outside is like a plus for me. So I don't have to go out and spend money. That is the fifth cost saving thing I am very, very grateful for. Number 6 is I share a cell phone plan with my family. I am a 36-year-old woman, and I am still on a cell phone plan with my immediate family. Yes, I am. There's so much cost savings in that. I pay a fraction of the cost of if I was just to arbitrarily go on my own plan. It makes literally no sense. My mom pays it. We literally all send her our money, and that's how we do it. And it is a fraction of the cost. It's been like this for years, and I am so grateful that I have that set up and I have the ability to do so. Truthfully, even when I get married, I likely won't change it. I just don't see the need to do it. I don't see the need to change it. The only way I'll change it and do something different is when the time comes to have a teenager on your own plan, my child on my own plan. That is something that will constitute it being changed. But other than that, there literally is no reason. It saves cost, and I am just so grateful for the fact that I have that ability to save cost in that area. Do you know how much cell phone plans are going for nowadays? Do you know? And we've been on this family plan for years, since I was in I think college. Yeah, in college. So I just send my mom my money each month, and she just pays it as a lump sum. And then, yeah, that's how we handle it. And my dad has a government discount. My brother's also on it, has a government discount. So it's a no-brainer. Let's save some money, okay? That's the 6 cost-saving thing I am grateful for. Honorable mention number 7 is going to be the fact that I am able to do most of my beauty care at home. I can pretty much do my own hair. I do my own nails. I do my pedicures, but when I want to reset, I do go into the salon. I pluck my own eyebrows. I do my own facials. I literally do everything, all my beauty stuff at home. So I save so much money in that realm. And that is a big thing. That is probably the best thing that came out of COVID, is learning how to do so many of these different services myself, so that I wouldn't have to continuously be paying someone to do that. And it saves me so much money. I do still see a hairstylist. I still have a hairstylist who keeps track of my hair, the health of my hair, gives me trims every so often, and just maintains it in that way. But altogether, I take care of my own beauty services, and I love it here. I love it here. It saves me so much money, and I highly recommend. Yes, I am a creature of convenience also. What I've learned about convenience is that convenience is costly. I am doing well, but I don't consider myself to be in a place that I want convenience so much that the things that I'm talented at and have the ability to do, I just will not do. There are going to be times that I'll go do certain things and get certain services, but for the most part, if I can do it myself, I'm going to do it myself. And I think it's just good to develop habits like that, no matter how much money you have, so that you can make sure that you're not just blowing your money just because you have it. If you're able to do certain things, every once in a while, treat yourself. You don't feel like doing it, go do it. You have the funds to do it. But to be able to keep funds and keep funds growing, you can't spend it just because you have it. That's number 7, honorable mention. But yeah, guys, these are all the things that I am just so grateful for that I have. And I think we take for granted. If you are someone that falls within any of these, stop taking them for granted, because if you guys watch some of the debt videos I've watched that are due to some of these things, that people have some of these expenses that are outrageous and they're blowing money on these things, you'll be very grateful that you fall into any one of these categories. So start taking more advantage of them and save your coins. Save your coins. My next financial video, I want to talk more about habits. Like I just referenced, even if you do have the funds, it's not about necessarily that, because in order to keep the funds, there's certain habits you have to develop. I see a lot of conversation in a lot of these videos where people mention spending for points. Yeah, that's great if the expense was going to happen regardless, right? But if you're spending with the excuse of, I'm paying on this credit card because I'm going to get points, but you had no reason to buy it, but you're just doing it with the excuse of points. Even if you have the money to pay it off, it's a habit that you're developing of just swiping. That is not a good habit. You do not want to develop that habit. That is going to be our next financial topic. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.
How was I to know you changed my mind? How was I to know? Oh.